his training camps were the stuff of legend. I mean, he would spar 100 rounds a week sometimes, which is just insane.
So who do you like in Canelo versus Crawford?
Well, I'm a giant Crawford fan because I think he's the best switch hitter since Marvin Hagler. I also think he's one of those guys that if you tell him he can't do something, he wants to show you and shock the world.
1000%.
Joe Rogan has reacted to Crawford's monster training for the Canelo fight, praising his elite switch hitting skills and adaptability. Rogan believes these attributes could counteract Canelo's raw power and vast experience despite the obvious size difference. Still, he voiced concern that Crawford must be physically strong enough to withstand Canelo's devastating shots, warning of the real danger of being overpowered in the ring.
Crawford's about to fight.
Yes, he's going to fight Canelo.
Oh, man.
I just hope he's big enough. I hope he's big enough to keep that dude off him because Canelo hits so hard, man.
That's one dude that, like, I believe all the shit he be talking.
Crawford? Yeah. Oh, he's good.
He don't just be saying shit.
They tried to say that like Errol Spence was damaged because of what Crawford did to him because he was damaged from the car accident. I'm like, maybe. Or maybe Crawford would have done that 3 years ago. I think he's that good. He's just so skillful. He's so slick. And when he gets, and he's also the best guy in the sport at switch hitting. He'll go from southpaw to orthodox and be just as good and trip you up. Like you think he's going to start southpaw, he starts orthodox. You prepare for orthodox, he's fighting southpaw. He feels like he's got you timed better orthodox, he'll switch it up.
Rogan doesn't mince words. He's firmly rooting for Crawford in this mega bout. On a recent Joe Rogan Experience episode with Jim Lampley, he was asked who he favors, and without hesitation replied, Crawford. He later explained, I'm a giant Crawford fan because I think he's the best switch hitter since Marvin Hagler. I also think Canelo is slowing down. Rogan admires Crawford's slick footwork, adaptability, and strategic finesse, even while acknowledging the daunting size and power Canelo will bring.
Which I think is really interesting. The Crawford-Canelo fight.
Beyond interesting. Fascinating.
Because how does Crawford compete with that size? Crawford is leapfrogging. He goes to super middleweight.
47 to 54 and now to 68.
And the Madrigal fight in 54 is a difficult fight.
Yeah. So who do you like in Canelo versus Crawford?
Well, I'm a giant Crawford fan because I think he's the best switch hitter since Marvin Hagler. I also think he's one of those guys that if you tell him he can't do something, he wants to show you and shock the world.
1000%.
I also think Canelo is slowing down, and Canelo is more of a one-punch fighter now than the combination fighter he was when he was young. He uses strength and conditioning. There's very few fighters that just train using skill, just train skills. Like George St. Pierre did that for a certain period of his career.
I wonder if there's anybody left in boxing who trains just using the gym skills. There were a lot of them when I was first involved in the sport who would never have touched a weight.
Right.
You know, they subscribed totally to the notion that that was negative.
Right. And the worst case, I mean, they definitely did calisthenics, but that was it. It was just body weight exercises, you know, which brings us to Crawford, which I think is really interesting. The Crawford-Canelo fight.
Beyond interesting. Fascinating.
Fascinating. Because how does Crawford compete with that size? And, you know, we have to recognize, okay, well, when Canelo fought Floyd, it was 152 pounds, right? So he had dropped down, which was a struggle for him, which is why Floyd was so brilliant in getting him to go down to 152, because he knew he would be drained.
Was it 52 or 54?
Despite his support, Rogan issued a clear warning. Crawford cannot step into the ring with Canelo without extreme caution due to the Mexican star's size and power advantage. He still called it probably the biggest fight in boxing and promised to watch every second. In classic Rogan style, his breakdown of the matchup even veered into unexpected territory, touching on cartel mule runners while analyzing the fight stakes.
You look at the elite of the elite boxers, to a man, to every one of them, they're disciplined. Yeah. And they stay focused. I'm so excited to see this fight with Canelo Alvarez because I think the Saudi Arabians have so much money. They're throwing so much money at boxing. And the guy who's the head of boxing over there wants to make that fight happen. I think Terence Crawford, forget about the 3-weight classes. I think he could beat Canelo.
I think he can too.
On the Joe Rogan Experience, Crawford himself reflected on his 2023 demolition of Errol Spence Jr., crediting his flawless execution to relentless preparation. Everything you see fight night, we drilled it time and time again, Crawford explained, highlighting how repetition was the secret to his dominance. Addressing Canelo's size advantage, he remained unfazed. He might be bigger than me, but big don't mean stronger.
Actually, practicing it, that was something that when I had the cast on, I was like, man, I love the gym so much. I'm like, man, I'm not leaving the gym. Like, I'm going to practice with this left. And that's when I got the left stronger, because at first, when I go southpaw, it was only, my right. Then when my hand got messed up, just started working on the left, and it started getting stronger and stronger. And I started getting more accurate, because at first, just throw it, just be throwing it. And then, it just got to a point where my left was actually way stronger than my right.
Boxing analyst Teddy Atlas views Canelo versus Crawford as a classic size versus speed battle. Canelo brings raw power, a granite chin, and home field advantages, while Crawford offers superior agility and ring IQ. Atlas even compared it to Manny Pacquiao's shocking victory over Oscar de la Hoya, emphasizing Crawford's elite instincts, timing, and elusive style. Despite Canelo's proven dominance at higher weight classes, Atlas believes Crawford's versatility, craft, and intangible skills could tip the scales in his favor.
Maybe he's a little overrated.
Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire, it's in his mind, it's in his makeup, where he came from. I know he's moving up in weight class, can he carry it? But those intangibles, I believe that he has them.
In preparation for the super middleweight clash, Crawford has undergone a dramatic body transformation. After campaigning at 154 pounds, he has bulked up significantly, reportedly walking around at 185 pounds, with early footage suggesting he was near cruiserweight territory. Even with the added muscle, he remains lean and explosive, a testament to disciplined conditioning. However, strength coach Rob Aosta has expressed concern that jumping from 154 straight to 168 and beyond might cost Crawford his trademark speed and stamina when facing Canelo's punishing power.
On size, Crawford coming in the ring, and Crawford doing everything he can to match Canelo's power, possibly size, and to, at a minimum, try to just maintain what speed he already possesses. Because, when you go up in weight, sometimes you compromise speed. So we know Crawford and his team are doing everything they can to, at a minimum, maintain his speed. But the question came up, okay, since Crawford is looking to come in the ring fast, powerful, we know he's already brilliant. Shit, what if Canelo comes in lighter? I'm like, lighter? Yeah, what happens if Canelo says, you know what, I'm not gonna try to come and just outweigh him by 20 pounds on fight night, because I realize I'm in there with somebody who's very agile and who's probably gonna be faster than me, and although I have timing, he has timing too, so I can't afford to be 2 or 3 steps behind Terence Crawford in my speed.
Boxing coach Greg Hackett doubts a knockout win for Terence Crawford over Canelo Alvarez is realistic in today's 12-round era, arguing that Canelo's durability and toughness make him nearly impossible to put away. Hackett says Crawford lacks the raw, concussive power to stop Canelo and is unlikely to risk prolonged toe-to-toe exchanges. Instead, he envisions a technical masterclass from Bud, relying on movement and precision rather than brute force. In the old 15-round format, Hackett believes Crawford might have had the time to wear Canelo down for a stoppage, but not here. Meanwhile, tensions between the fighters are heating up as the bout approaches. Canelo recently quipped, "Crawford will learn what happens when a good fighter jumps up and faces a great fighter." Crawford's reply was ice cold. "So that means you're a good fighter and Dimitri Bivol is a great fighter, right? Every time you stepped up, you lost?" A sharp retort and a not-so-subtle reminder of Canelo's humbling defeat to Bivol.
how do you feel like he will do going against somebody like a Canelo at 168?
I think Bud, man, one thing I love about Bud, he willing to challenge himself. And when you're willing to challenge yourself, you can surprise yourself. But that's a hell of a feeling. I think, to be honest, you don't want to sit there and brawl with Canelo, but at some point you're gonna have to fight him. You know what I'm saying? You can't let Canelo press you. You know what I'm saying? Because he's great at that, and he a bully. He is a bully. But Bud, I believe, got bully tendencies too. You know what I'm saying? And he could be crafty. But I think if he approached it the way he approached Spence, then we get a way better fight than people think. Now, what I saw when he approached Spence was, I can't make a mistake. I can't let him do too much. I can't let him be a bully. I think if he go at Canelo the same way, then we get a great fight on our hands. I'm sorry. I'm not saying he's gonna be that dominant, but I'm just saying I think we get a great fight on our hands.
Andre Ward, the former 2-division world champion, gave a strong endorsement of Terence Crawford ahead of his potential showdown with Canelo Alvarez. Ward said, "I'm not betting Terence Crawford against anybody right now," adding that Crawford is the type of fighter you could bet the house on. While Ward acknowledged the dangerous weight jump and the risks involved, he insisted that someone would have to prove they could break Crawford's will, something he has never seen happen.
I'm going with Terence Crawford, you know. Big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat him.
Dimitri Bivol, the WBA light heavyweight champion renowned for his technical mastery, also spoke highly of Crawford. In past interviews, Bivol called Crawford amazing and said he should be in the textbook for young fighters learning the craft. Ahead of the Canelo fight, Bivol once again praised Crawford as one of his favorite boxers, highlighting both his impressive skill set and his underrated size, and affirming his belief that Crawford can beat Canelo.
I want to quickly ask you a couple of questions. Crawford, Spence. I know you watched the fight and you spoke about Crawford. How good is Crawford?
Crawford is amazing, not just good. He's amazing, and
he said the same thing about you.
Thank you, Terence. But I think he should be in the book for
really? Is that good?
How to learn boxing, you know?
Really?
He's a very good fighter. Yeah, I like to watch his fights.
Pound for pound #1?
Yeah, probably he is now because he is undisputed champion in 2 weight classes.
It's crazy.
He's a great fighter, yeah. To be honest, I didn't see, I think, Crawford in real life. I don't know how big he is. But the size, you know, when I came to boxing gym and my coach told me that one of the rules, it's like respect the weight classes, you know. You should respect weight classes. But he has a very good skill. He's one of my favorite fighters, active fighters now.
Bernard Hopkins reflected on Crawford's dominance win over Errol Spence Jr., claiming it had lasting consequences. Hopkins believes that the punishment Spence took in that fight effectively shaved 4 fights off his career, both physically and mentally. He suggested that Crawford's impact goes beyond the final bell. He changes fighters in ways that affect them long after the bout is over.
Crawford. Believe Crawford, even though, fought twice, throughout the year, Crawford, was...
But look who he beat.
Undisputed.
Look who he beat. Look who he beat. What he did to Spence and how he did it. That's 3 fights to me. And it took 4 fights out of Spence, right? Yeah, I'm a fighter, so I can tell you when you get punished like that.
Yeah, I was there ringside watching the fight.
It takes a few years out of you. Don't see the years right now, but it sort of takes something out of that person going forward. They still can beat some fights, but it really put a bruise on. You didn't see Spence fight yet, did you?
No.
Did you hear him name opponent for him to potentially fight? It's been quiet. You see the
former champion Tim Bradley remains firmly in Crawford's corner, giving him a 30 to 40% chance of defeating Canelo Alvarez. While Bradley admires Crawford's elite skill and fight IQ, he also warns that Canelo's size and power could be too much. Bradley noted that Crawford's stubbornness, his willingness to trade, could backfire if he gets caught clean.
One more thing. It don't matter if Canelo is on that. He ain't beat no Terence Crawford. You heard it here first. Plus, I look at the performances of Canelo. I look at his last performances. I mean, they've been all right, you know. It ain't been like, you know, wow, you know, blew me away. So I'm not really worried about all of that. And the same thing goes with Crawford. I know he's with Snack, and I know some news came out this week and all of that, but I personally believe that Snack is clean. I think it's a conflict of interest, the fact that, hey, he knows how to beat the system, quote unquote, Mr. Conte, but at the same time, I think Snack, you got products going around the world, this and that. I mean, all these athletes are testing. They're not testing anything or positive by using Snack at all. So I think they're safe. There's no doubt about it. So with that being said, I'm not worried about that. As long as they testing, I'm good.
Trainer Robert Garcia offered an interesting perspective on Canelo's recent fighting style, especially after Edgar Berlanga's defeat. According to Garcia, Canelo no longer chases knockouts. Instead, he does just enough to secure victory. This, Garcia explained, is a strategic choice to preserve Canelo's body for the future. Proof that while the Mexican star still has knockout power, he's choosing to fight smarter and prolong his career.
Why is it that Shiraz was able to knock out Berlanga, but not Canelo?
It's because Canelo doesn't go out for the knockout anymore. Canelo's just now, you know, we've seen in the last few fights, he just does enough to win. He did the same again, Munguia. He dropped Munguia, but then didn't want to finish him. Charlo, Berlanga. He wants to cruise through the fight. You know, he's up there, you know, in not in age because he's only like 33 or 34, but he's
fighting since 15.
15. A lot of training camps, a lot of sparring matches. So all that takes a lot out of your body. So he takes care of his body too. So he doesn't go all out because he doesn't want to just finish his body. He knows he still has a few more years and a few big fights where he wants to take care of himself and not punish himself too much. That's why he hasn't been able to knock those guys out. Not because he can't. I think he just does enough to win. I think Shiraz also has great power, man. I think Shiraz has the power that nobody believes.
Virgil Ortiz Jr. made his pick clear. He believes Canelo wins decisively against Crawford. Ortiz argued that while Crawford might bulk up to 180 pounds, putting on weight and belonging in the super middleweight division are two different things.
I don't think he is, but if he beats Canelo, he'll be like my #1 fighter of all time.
You don't think Crawford beats Canelo?
I don't think so. And look, hear me out. I respect Crawford and everything that he's doing, but he just moved up from 147, so I'm just gonna treat him as a 147 pounder. He's jumping up 3 weight classes to fight someone who was like the #1 fighter in all of boxing, you know. The jump would be hard, even if it was just like some top 10,
right, yeah.
You know.
Bud, would you say he's a very smart fighter?
Yes.
Very calculated,
Yes.
right? Don't you think that maybe he sees something that most people aren't seeing?
I think he does, but the thing is he gonna be able to even like to capitalize on it? Because he's a smaller fighter, and look, I think people are thinking at the aspect of, can Crawford do it? Yes, I think he can do it, but can Canelo do it? And I think he has a bigger chance of doing it than Crawford does.
Favors him.
Now, Canelo, he has obviously the size advantage, the strength advantage, intellect. I think Crawford edges him out in IQ. I just think the weight difference is going to be the deciding factor here. I mean, like, when I seen Canelo's check hook against Berlanga, that shit was like this. You know, and Canelo's not slow either. Like, this shit was, I didn't see that coming at all. He just dropped him, and I was just like, damn, he still got it. I just think that Crawford just bit off a little more than he can chew, but if he can chew it and he beats him, which I think he can. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he has 0% chance. I'm just thinking Canelo wins. But if he does, he will be my #1 fighter of all time.
Wow, I always knew that you had a lot of respect and admiration.
Ortiz emphasized Crawford's size disadvantage and warned that getting hit clean by Canelo is not good. He called it a clear win for Canelo, but added that if Crawford were to pull off the upset, he'd consider him the GOAT.
And I think he has a bigger chance of doing it than Crawford does.
Favors him.
Now, Canelo, he has obviously the size advantage, the strength advantage, intellect. I think Crawford edges him out in IQ. I just think the weight difference is going to be the deciding factor here. I mean, like, when I seen Canelo's check hook against Berlanga, that shit was like this. You know, and Canelo's not slow either. Like, this shit was, I didn't see that coming at all. He just dropped him, and I was just like, damn, he still got it. I just think that Crawford just bit off a little more than he can chew, but if he can chew it and he beats him, which I think he can. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he has 0% chance. I'm just thinking Canelo wins. But if he does, he will be my #1 fighter of all time.
Wow, I always knew that you had a lot of respect and admiration for him.
So, what do you think? Does Terence Crawford's skill and training give him the edge over Canelo Alvarez? Drop your predictions in the comments.